of 5 decades, Children's Academy Group of Schools has educated and given to the world stalwarts who are leaders in every field imaginable, from sciences to technology and commerce and even the liberal arts. Ex-students of the academy have been waving the flag of the school atop the highest mountains. It is the time to take advantage of the knowledge of these great leaders who once sat on the same benches that you do today. Are you inquisitive to know more about your dream career, or raring to discover new fields you may have never considered before? If yes, then roll up your sleeves and get ready as we virtually take you on a journey to meet our alumni. An enriching and lively experience to interact with your alumni. Stay tuned for Alumni Champion Talks.
A very good evening to everyone, and a very, very hearty welcome to Kshitij Gupta, our guest for today's Alumni Champion Talks episode 3. Kshitij, may I request? Yes, welcome Kshitij to our next episode, which is the Alumni Champion Talks, and we are so happy to have you here. Kshitij, I haven't met you personally, but this platform has given me an opportunity to interact with you. Dear audience, dear students, Kshitij has been our student of 2007-2008 batch, a brilliant student all through, a student who has participated in almost every activity possible available in the school, whether it is co-curricular or extracurricular. And I'm sure that has been to his advantage all through, because once he stepped out from the portals of Children's Academy, he was shining all through, be it his graduation education or the post-graduation education, which he took up later on outside our country all through. So a hearty welcome. Without much ado, Kshitij, I would now like to hand over to my little hosts. Those are all waiting very anxiously to meet you. So may I call Amrita Mukherjee in to welcome you and then take it on from there. Welcome again, Kshitij. Thank you so much for being with us. For the timing, I'll talk to you later.
A warm welcome to all our viewers and school dignitaries who have tuned in today. We especially extend a warm welcome to Mona ma'am and our teachers. I'm your host, Amrita Mukherjee, with my co-hosts Master Palash Jadhav and Ms. Saili Narvekar. We, the students of Children's Academy Thakur Complex, present to you the third episode of the Alumni Champion Talks, a show which aims to connect our champion seniors with our dreamy-eyed students who are still discovering themselves and their talents.
We are sure the episode will evoke nostalgia as we walk down memory lane, which surely would have been a phenomenal one. I'm sure you were a part of our earlier episodes and are eager to meet our distinguished alumnus. At Alumni Champion Talks, we invite our esteemed ex-students to inspire and ignite the fire of motivation. On that positive note, let's extend our warm welcome to our guests this evening.
Today on the show, it is our honor to have an exceptionally talented former student of Children's Academy who left his indelible mark on his peers and teachers alike. May I welcome Mr. Kshitij Gupta from our 2007-2008 batch. He is joining us all the way from Toronto today. Dear sir, we've heard a lot about you from your teachers, and all of us eagerly wait to hear from you. To begin with, sir, if you could start by introducing yourself to our audience.
Hey everyone, don't call me sir, just call me Kshitij, that's fine. I'm Kshitij Gupta. As everybody mentioned, I passed out from Children's Academy in 2007-2008 batch. I had got a scholarship to go to New Zealand to complete my 11th and 12th there. So I was in Auckland for a couple years, did my high schooling, quote unquote, or college years there. Then applied all over the world, ended up at the University of Toronto in Canada, where I proceeded to do my undergraduate. Worked for a couple years, went back with the electric car company in Canada, did my master's here, and I'm currently working for General Motors in Canada, developing their electric vehicle platforms.
So, what stands out in our eyes is your humility. Our teachers describe you as a student par excellence. We are hugely inspired by the kind of work that you have been doing. We understand that you are an algorithm design and development engineer, vehicle thermal management at General Motors. Could you please let us know more about your area of work and what exactly does it mean to be one?
Sure. So, algorithm design and development engineer is a fancy term, but what it basically describes is we develop software. Now, the question is, what is the software for? So, General Motors over the next 2 years, by 2025, is going to come out with about 30 electric vehicles. So, there's a whole bunch of development happening on the back end in order to make that possible. What my team works on is the thermal aspects of it. So there's a thermal loop, the thermal system in the car that makes sure that your batteries are not overheating. If you request air conditioning, you get some cool air blowing on your face. If you need some heating, if you're in some warmer environments, then you're getting some warm air to cool the to heat the cabin up. My team works on that, and specifically the controls and diagnostic software of it. Controls would mean, okay, you've pressed the button, you want this much cooling. Now, there's going to be a whole bunch of physics happening in the background to calculate where are we going to get this heat from? Should we give you the heat or should we give the battery the heat? So those algorithms, that logic is what my team develops on the control side of things. On diagnostics, you must have seen there's a check engine light that comes up when the vehicle goes bad. How does the vehicle know that something is bad? There's a bunch of logic in the back which is always checking, hey, is this part working fine? Is this system working fine? So on and so forth. So that is the logic that we develop, which will let our customers know in the future if there is something bad with the system, that, hey, something is bad, go to the dealer, go check it out. This is not safe. It's not safe to drive the car.
Wow, 30 vehicles, that's quite a huge amount, and that's super impressive. For us and for our audience, could you please tell us how to pursue a career in this field?
So even though that's an interesting question, but even though I am doing software development right now at General Motors, I don't really come from a software field. I come from more of what is described in the engineering circles as a core mechanical engineering field. So what I would suggest is how you end up there really doesn't matter. People have taken so many paths to do what they are currently doing in life. Mechanical people doing software like I'm currently doing. What matters more is that you're interested in the field. I've always been interested in the electrical vehicle space, in the environmental space. I have done a whole bunch of projects and other work in the past in that field. And that had nothing to do with software. That purely had to do with developing batteries, that had to do with developing solar cars, that had to do with all of these things. And so when I did apply for General Motors, I knew it was a software job. And I'm like, yeah, I am not a software person. But what I do have is expertise in all of this, or I know how the thermal system of the vehicle is supposed to function. I know the challenges that we face in order to make things work. So I was brought in like, okay, we'll give you a chance to, do some software, learn some skills on the job, but come in with that background, come in with that passion for the project, and that's how I ended up here. So if you ask me, how do I come to this role? That role isn't material. I think what is more important is just be passionate about what you're doing. Keep doing small things, even if you don't get a break initially. uh, the dots may connect sometime in the future, as I think Steve Jobs had mentioned, and you may end up where you want to be.
I'm sure so students like me who are watching this episode will be waiting to explore this avenue. So, are the staff and faculty members in the school still remember your passion for conserving the environment from your childhood days? Has this defined your career in any way, sir?
Um, I would say it has. That there are points in your life when you have to make choices, whether you should go into a particular industry or not. And there may be more money involved somewhere else. There may be other reasons why you may want to do that. But I think it gave me some sort of a moral footing on what I do and do not want to do in my life and in my career. So it did help me and guide me in making those decisions throughout life. It does play a big role in what I do, what I'm passionate about, and what I'd be happy doing in the future in my career.
That's really interesting to know, sir. And that prompts me to share some of the notable achievements of our illustrious alumni. He is one person whose artistic abilities and the aptitude are at par. Our school proudly proclaims that he is multi-talented and a multifaceted person who excelled in academics as well. Apart from winning numerous awards at the ward, district, and state levels, Kshitij sir has the distinction of being awarded the Balashri Award for creativity and innovation in science. He received this prestigious award at the hands of the President of India, Honorable Srimati Pratibha Patil. Sir, could you please share your experience and some memories of this entire event with us?
Sure. Yeah, that was one of the, I guess, defining highlights for me back in when I was at Children's Academy, because I was grade 10, just about to pass out, and that's when I had, I guess I was lucky enough to get this award. But I remember this almost did not happen. Back in the day, I don't know what the situation is in school today, but I used to be in Thakur Complex, Ashanagar branch, and we were not allowed to participate in any competitions in grade 10. And I had a reputation of never being in school, like never being in class, being in school, doing some other competition. And so grade 10, there's no competitions. All you have to do is study for your boards, work towards getting good grades, so on and so forth. And I get a call from one of my friends from the other branch, from Ashok Nagar. And he's like, hey, Kshitij, ये competition चल रहा है, तू कल आ रहा है या नहीं आ रहा? ये national level तक जाता है, president's award मिल सकता है, something on those lines. I'm like, wait, what? You guys are allowed to go in competitions? We are not. So next day I go to Nafisa ma'am, who was the principal, her office. I'm like, ma'am, Ashok Nagar say, this guy is going to this competition. It goes to the national level. Can I also please go? And then I think teachers had a lot of trust in me, my batch, a lot of my friends, and I think I'm definitely very thankful for that. But she did give me that opportunity to be like, yeah, go ahead, you want to do it, and so I ended up going to the competition. Went through the multiple rounds. So there was like one in Bombay, a regional in Rajkot, which was for a few days, and then a national in Delhi, which was almost for an entire week. So there was a whole bunch of preparing for each of these stages, especially for the nationals involved, a whole bunch of travel, and all of this in grade 10. So I'm clearly missing school. I have no clue what's happening with grade 10 studies and stuff like that. But yeah, it was fun. Met a lot of really amazing people all across the country, and was lucky enough to be one of those chosen to get the award. Yeah.
As we can clearly see, you were completely immersed in various school activities, and I'm sure the very walls of our school, the benches of our classroom, our playgrounds, and every nook of our school building will evoke innumerable memories amongst all of us. And as you sit back and relax, what are some of your fondest memories of school life? Any particular incident you would like to share with us today?
School life was really amazing. I mean, thinking back at it, those were some of the best years of, I think, the lives of most of you. When you do graduate, you go into, uh, colleges or into life, doing your career and all. You're definitely going to look back at your school days and have really fond memories of it. Um, there were a lot, honestly. I mean, my batch was like the second batch that graduated from the new branch, Thakur Complex back then. So there was only 1 year ahead of us. There was no seniors to like bully us or anything like that. So we pretty much had a fun gala time across the entire school. Um, that was one. The other thing was competitions and just being out of, you know, been out there meeting people from other schools, other branches, friends I knew from before, because I was in Ashoknagar until grade six. Grade six, I remember, I don't know whether Ronit sir, I guess, is on call, but we were classmates. So I would go to Rohan sir, Mona ma'am's house, and sometimes in the afternoon, play video games on his computer. So yeah, those are some really fun, great times back from school. But I think there were some defining moments apart from the fun aspects that really defined who I am, or the confidence that I have, or the things that I did in my life. So I remember in Ashoknagar, there used to be Jayashree ma'am, and this was, I think, grade 3 or grade 4, something like that. So you're a kid, you don't really know what the world is, what's happening. You're just doing your daily stuff. And there used to be this competition. I think it was state scholarship or something like that. I don't remember the exact name of it. But she was like, "Yeah, you're gonna do really well." And I'm like, "Wait, I've just been in your class. There's like 60 kids in this class. How do you know I'm gonna do really well? Why do you have so much confidence in me?" But that was that really shaped me. It's like, okay, if somebody feels that way, maybe there is something. And I ended up giving that exam, did fairly well in it. And there were many defining moments like that. So that set me up for understanding success beyond just the school. There's there's a bigger world out there that you may want to try and compete in and see where you are, kind of thing. So after that, I was always outside class. Then afterwards, there was I used to be heavy in sports, but I was not good at it. In the sense that I would participate. I would go to Sai grounds every morning with the sports team, train and stuff like that. But I was a thrower, so at best I would be like a decent district level shot put discus thrower. And I remember I used to go to summer camps, and those camps were, I think back then was like Kamleshwar and all, but they would kind of put you under a torturous routine. It's like, okay, run these many rounds of the ground, do this, do that. Okay, no, stopping, no breathing, come on, do it, and stuff like that. But we would not give up and just do it. And I would be the last person to finish everything, always, almost. Because, there are runners and there's like marathoners and all that I'm training with. And then at the end of that entire camp, Kamlesh sir had like this thing where he was like, okay, you did the best, you did the second best, kind of like a gold, silver, bronze thing, medals being given out, but not for a competition, but just your performance through the camp. And then in the end, he had like a special bronze for me for not giving up, and that was interesting, because I was like, oh, I clearly failed in everything I was doing. I just kept doing what he he instructed me to. But that was an important learning point, especially to sports. It's like, you will not always win. You lose a lot. You may make a fool of yourself doing what you're doing, but just stick to it. Don't give up, and that does count towards something. And then back in the new school, I know Renan sir, if he's still on the call or if he's with the school, he helped me a lot with. I would spend a lot of time with him developing science projects or like models and stuff like that for the different competitions that we have in school. Also going to a lot of art competitions. I'm sure I did not win a lot of competitions for him, but he just had that trust to, it's like, go ahead, do it. So yeah, Reddit sir, sorry, I keep screwing up my painting, even though I can sketch very quickly. uh, but yeah, like there are teachers throughout those 10 years in Children's Academy, and then Afisa Ma'am, of course, in the end, and the entire science faculty who took my passion for science and helped develop me through various competitions. I see Seema Ma'am is on call, Seema Ma'am, Rakesh sir, Parul Ma'am. So there were like a lot of teachers who helped shape me in all of these, and I'm definitely very grateful for everything you did. It definitely did impact my life in a very positive way, and still does inform what I do today.
That was indeed very nostalgic and inspiring for us as students as well, sir. I'm sure we all agree that we students feel overwhelmed with academics, that is, assignments, a vast syllabus, extracurriculars, etc. However, sir, you seem to have struck the right balance. So, could you tell us how you used to manage your time and what was your driving force?
Sure. I don't think I may have seemed to have struck some sort of a balance, but I think my mom will tell you that I didn't strike any balance. For me, it was more like, okay, I like this, I will do it, and then okay, I need to get a certain amount of grades in school to be kind of okay with the rest of my family, with the rest of the school. So okay, I'll just study at the end, cram a little. Don't do that to make sure I get that. So that was the way I managed with it. I'm sure there are much better ways to do it. I remember Rohan sir back in school talking about the SMART goals and how you manage your time, and come up with goals which are measured and timely, and you can define them. So I think that's a much better way. I think I would defer to Rohan sir on that.
Sir, we, the current batch of students, sorely miss the physical school. And when you shared your memories with us, it was as if we traveled back in time with you. As a student at Children's Academy, sir, you participated in several co-curricular and extracurricular activities, quite enthusiastically too. So, sir, in your opinion, how did this help you enhance your personality?
In a very big way. Again, as I said, for me in school, it was just being outside for whatever arts, science, performing on stage. I have failed spectacularly in school as well, and that teaches you things. I remember there was to answer your question, the first thing it gave you was that confidence to just speak up, whether be it in a meeting format, whether be it in a front of a crowd of 100 or 1,000 people, and that nobody's going to be able to take away from you, and you never know when that comes in handy. In your career today, you're doing fine. Tomorrow, you have to present this technology at a conference that you're working on. That ability to speak freely, openly, confidently, without hesitation. The way I at least was able to get that was just being in front of the crowd, day in day out at school, and learning, and even spectacularly failing. I'm sorry if Marathi teachers are still there, but I remember Marathi Day, Vaishali ma'am, and they had asked us more or less to organize in grade 9 the Marathi Day, and we spectacularly messed it up. We went overtime. The school is over. Students are almost leaving. Parents have come to pick them up, and at the end of that Marathi Day, we remember going back and just crying, like the core group of us who had helped organize it, because it was a spectacular failure. But nobody said anything to us after that. They still were like, okay, you did a good job, good, and you learn personally from that experience. Yeah, like those things are very, very important. Those soft skills that you pick up, the ability to fail, the confidence in, okay, you can speak in front of a crowd, you can speak at the drop of a hat. If you're put in a corner, you know how to respond, what to respond, stuff like those. Those are some great skills to learn during school. Because honestly, in school, you can take a lot of chances, try a lot of things, find out what you like, don't like, fail. There really is nothing, there's no downside to failing, as much as maybe later in life. So make the most use of the time you have there, and try as much as you can, find what you like, try to develop it there, and pursue it after as well.
I'm sure all of us can relate to this, and this is a clear message to all of us that we can excel in academics and extracurriculars both. I agree. School is a part of your life, and you can make mistakes and learn. Dear audience, when we listen to his story, we can almost connect the dots. Moving on to the next phase of his life, we are very pleased to share that he was one among the only 3 students in the country selected to study at Auckland International College, New Zealand. At the tender age of 15, he conditioned himself, adapted to the change in lifestyle while living in Auckland. And not just this, he continued to excel there and won the Youth Leadership Award at the hands of the Mayor of Auckland. On that note, sir, could you share how your family, school, friends, and most importantly, yourself motivated you?
Sure. So after India, I did go to New Zealand. After Children's Academy, I was in Auckland International College, and that was a big change for me. I'm young. I'm living alone, away from family. I've been thrown into a hostile environment with. So in the entire school, this was an international Japanese school. So there were only 6 Indians, and everybody else was from everywhere. A lot of Asians, a lot of Chinese, Vietnamese, Koreans, and for whatever reason, I didn't fit in the best over there. That school was much more. Oh, you need very strong academic rigor. You need to get these many grades. There used to be co-curriculars, but not the level of support and not the amount and volume that I was used to back in Children's Academy. So and I was not a purely academic person. Even back in school in India, in Children's, I was maybe top 10, never top 1. So I did struggle academically there, and because the school valued everything in terms of your grades, I would fall behind within the peers. And I was one of those kids who's like, oh, you're brought in to get good grades, but you are barely making any good grades. See, we have local students performing better than you. So there was that sort of a weird dynamic playing there. And that pushed me into a corner. What helped me out of it was the things that I did back in Children's Academy. It's like, it's fine. These are academics, go do other stuff. Find things that you're going to like, find groups that you're going to enjoy, do that earnestly, and you may reap some rewards there. So in all of those, there were very dark days for me, some of those. And I remember I started figuring out, okay, screw studies, I'll do what I can do there. Let me find something else that I can do. And then I realized that New Zealand has a very strong environmental conservation movement going on. The government supports it a lot. The people do, so on and so forth. So I started getting myself involved in it. I started working, organizing a lot of tree plantations for the government. So there would be areas that they wanted to reclaim. There would be areas that would have had forests that are destroyed for whatever reasons. Now you want to go and grow new trees there, or there are new trees planted a couple of years back. You need to go back and maintain them, or there are some samples that you need to take from rivers in order to monitor the quality of the water, so on and so forth. So a lot of that needed manual work, honestly, and we were students. So I was like, hey, how about I get you a group of 2,200 people every weekend, and we will do whatever needs to be done. So I started organizing that. So every weekend I would just be like, goodbye hostel, I'm going somewhere, exploring Auckland. Got a chance to explore as well, of course. And started doing a whole bunch of these things. And the local municipality noticed. So then that is what led to me being given that environmental award in the youth category. Uh, there were some great opportunities that would have come off it if I had been a New Zealand citizen, but that was not the case. But you just move on. So to answer your question, how did my family, my friends, my school teachers from Children's Academy support me? It's in those ways. It's those things that they taught me to do, apart from just regular school and regular studies. That is what pulled me out of those dark days and put me into somewhere where I felt happy about what I was doing and confident in myself to further carry on and then do fine in studies and so on and so forth.
So your words have given us a new perspective to look at things. So from Auckland, you moved to Toronto, and you would have interacted with people from different cultures and nationalities. Did this change in geographical location from India to New Zealand and then to Canada impact you in any way?
Yes and no. I mean, the first move, as I mentioned earlier, was a shock. The massive change in the way school dealt with stuff. And I was under 18 back then. I was 15, 16 years. So I couldn't go out on my own. I had to be within the school environments, within the hostel environment, stuff like that. So that taught me it's like going out of India in grade 10, I was like flying high with the President's Award, with the scholarship, so on and so forth. And then it was like falling flat on your face when I did that in New Zealand, the first few months. And then building up there. So what I did learn there is resilience. One, that definitely shaped me. The second thing is working with different cultures, because all of those classmates, all of those friends from there, they were all over the world. So understanding each other's cultures, getting to mingle with them, understand them. There are some funny things I did I can't share over here. But so things like that over there. And then coming to Toronto, I guess I'm lucky in that way. Is Toronto is a very multicultural city where it doesn't force you to assimilate. It's like you can be who you are. You come from India, you want to celebrate this, you want to do that, fine, we'll join you if you welcome us, kind of thing. So coming to Toronto was not a big issue or a big change for me, especially after that first shock. So if anything, coming here was like even a greater opportunity to know, experience and learn about different cultures and people and their way of doing things, and celebrating that with them while sharing our culture with others and having them enjoy the same.
That is really uplifting, sir. And I must confess, you have been our subject of intensive research for the past so many days. And we've discovered that during your college years at the University of Toronto, which, dear audience, is ranked among the world's top 30 universities for engineering, you were the lead mechanical engineer for the Blue Sky Solar Racing team. We would like to know more about your experience, sir. Could you explain the technical aspect of it to our audience?
Sure. So solar racing is not new. It's been around for a fair amount of years. What that basically entails is you are making a vehicle that's going to transport people which is powered purely on the sun. So all you have is solar panels on the top of it. You're getting energy from the sun, and that is what you're using to drive forward. The race itself that we competed in is the World Solar Challenge, which happens in Australia. So if anybody has a map of Australia around, the entire continent of Australia, the center of it at the top, you've got Adelaide. You've got Darwin. Then you drive across the Australian outback to reach Adelaide in the south. That's about 3,000 odd kilometers. So the race is on open highway roads in Australia. You start in Darwin. You've been given 5 to 6 days to reach Adelaide purely on solar energy. So we are racing on open roads in a car built by us. And that's the gist of it. So who wins is not necessarily who is the fastest car, but who wins is the team who can come up with the best strategy to win. So what would that mean? It's like, oh, you don't know what the weather is going to be tomorrow. You don't know what the winds are going to look like tomorrow. You don't know whether there's going to be a forest fire while you're driving through the outback. So you need to uh, if today is sunny, for example, you can drive really fast. It's like, hey, I'm getting so much sun, so much energy, let's just drive. But maybe you may want to be smart about it. Drive a little slower today, conserve some energy in your battery pack so that you can use it tomorrow when maybe you have predicted or you've used whatever models and algorithms you have on your end to predict that, hey, things are going to be packed tomorrow. So the best team or the fastest team is usually who does cross the line in the end of in the shortest time, but it's usually not a speed race. It's more of a, how are you going to manage the energy that nature is giving you in the best way possible. So during the race, it's all of that strategy. Before the race, it's you need to make sure that the car that you come up with is the most efficient possible, aerodynamically, mechanically, it's safe enough, stuff like that. So that meant as a mechanical lead, of course, making sure it was the lightest, sturdiest vehicle that I can design. That meant dealing a lot with composite materials, not just metals, in order to come up with structural parts. Then optimizing each part as much as we can, removing some grams off here and there in order to make sure it's light enough, but still strong enough to take the load and whatever these 3,000 odd kilometers throw at you. Because if you're stuck in the middle and if you break down, well, you're on your own. There is nobody supporting you. It's you and your team. I've been to World Solar Challenge twice, 2013 and 15, and I've been in sticky situations. We've had situations where I was driving the trailer, which is basically a normal vehicle. This is not the solar car, right? Where we had all the gear. It's a group of 20 of us, so all our bags and all in like this trailer that we are pulling ahead, and we flipped in the middle of a trailer. So all our stuff is strewn across the highway and stuff like that. So it's adventure, a lot of fun, a lot of stories to tell after. The second time I went, we lost one bolt which held together our brake calipers. So each wheel had two brake calipers. One of them had lost the bolt, so it was not working at all. And at night, we were like, oh, we must be having a spare brake caliper. Oh, guess what? We got the brake pads, but not the calipers. What do we do now? And then in the middle of the night, we were making bolts, taking scrap pieces of metal that we had. We didn't have a lathe. We didn't have any of the tools that are traditionally needed to make a bolt. So just using hand tools and figuring ways out somehow or the other to make a bolt, put it in, and then in the morning, let's go again, the race is on, kind of thing. So a lot of fun stories, a lot of some victories there, some bad defeats. It's like you work on the car for 2 years, and then if it doesn't perform well, you are like so dejected. If it does perform well, you are like at the top of the moon, kind of thing. So I love my time there. I did, again, same as back in children's, do more of that, less of studies. I don't necessarily suggest that. Do balance both. But that did give me a whole bunch of skills, and that did help me further in my career where my grades could not have taken me.
So what we can conclude and say is that coming first is not important. However, resilience and strategy and presence of mind is what counts. I'm sure that has certainly helped our budding enthusiasts. Soon after moving to Toronto, you have taken up a lot of projects there, like the Chapter of Association of India's Development in Toronto and many other academic adventures. Could you elaborate further on the same?
Sure. So, yeah, in all of this, whether I was in New Zealand or whether I was in Canada initially, I always wanted to have some sort of a rooting back in India. So I would try to do different things initially in New Zealand. It was getting some kids from school back to India to work with some environmental organizations, stuff like that. When I did come to Canada, I tried to explore the environmental situation here, but I didn't really find anything that I don't know whether anybody or this movie is still relevant, but there used to be this movie by Shah Rukh Khan, Swades, which had this NASA engineer go back to India, build a mini hydro project, stuff like that. That I would say is still inspiring to me to some extent. So that is actually adapted from a true story of the founder of Association for India's Development. So both of them were engineers in US who had gone back to India. They work fully on the grassroots, and then they support a lot of other people doing the same in India. So that is what kind of inspired me. I contacted them, realized that they are big in the US, not so much in Canada. So I tried to kind of start the first chapter in Toronto at the University of Toronto. We didn't really, in North America, most of the work that they do is fundraising, so that they can support local groups back in India. And after doing all of that, I realized fundraising is not really my cup of tea. I would rather be working on the ground or helping people directly working on the ground. So what I did do is just set up a small internship program where students from University of Toronto could then go back to one of our partner institutions in India during their summer and maybe work with them. So I think the first intern, of course, was me myself. I'd worked in the Antop Hill slums with the slum school there. We had students go to, in the subsequent years, go to Chennai, work in some rural areas in Chennai, or around Chennai rather, and then another one who came back to Bombay, to the slums. So yeah, it was a small internship program, just to kind of try to give back to some extent back in India. But what I did learn from that experience is the importance of the grassroots movements and the importance of NGOs and stuff like that, as well as the limitations of the same. So the reason I did not end up continuing with it, and I maybe realized that, okay, they have their role to play in society, but maybe a better form for me would have been maybe a social enterprise or something like that.
It was very insightful, sir. Taking a peek into your future, and not to sound too formal, but where do you see yourself in the next 10 years, sir?
Yeah, I really don't know. Yeah, if you had asked me after my bachelor's, hey, are you going to do masters? I would be like, yeah, never. That's never happening. I don't even have the grades to apply. And here I am with a master's degree, potentially would have done a PhD. If you asked me during masters, would you do a PhD? I would have said, yeah, no. I'm not considering it or anything like that, but all I'm saying is you never know what life throws at you. Saying where I'll be 10 years in the future, all I can say is I hope I am, doing the things that I'm passionate about, and those passions may change. They may evolve as you grow, as you learn new things. So just be open to that, and hopefully I am as well. And wherever I am, I'm happy doing what I am doing.
I agree with your motto, sir. Go with what life throws at you. And sir, we're very sure that you must have received a lot of lucrative job offers in the last years. How difficult was it for you to stand by your own ideals and even give up on these job offers?
I it's not been that difficult, and it may just have to do with, I guess, the support I have from family and all. There have been times when I've not taken a job just because I was pursuing something. For example, the solar car. When I had graduated in April, the race was in October. I was like, yeah, I've given 3 years of my life for this. I want to see this to completion. So effectively, after graduation, most students you would know would be like, oh, let's apply for jobs. Let's get a job. Let's do that. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to apply for jobs. I want to finish this. I like what I'm doing. Yeah, there's no money right now, but fine. I'm getting this experience, which should help me down the line. Kind of thing. So there have been situations like that, and my family, at least to me, haven't complained a lot. So I'm happy and thankful and grateful for that.
Sir, I have to say your strong morals place you as one of our role models for sure. Finally, we would like you to address our audience who are watching us live right now and share a piece of advice with us.
Um, a piece of advice would be a little. I don't think I have those many words of wisdom to share. All I'll say is just keep doing what you're doing. Even if you're not successful in it, don't give up. Be passionate about what you're doing, and somehow or the other you will find a way. Either to be happy in what you did, or some sort of a success that makes you feel that you accomplished something in that field, and that may be completely contrarian to what the rest of the world is doing, what people are asking you to do. Maintain some balance, but don't give up on it.
You seem to have chosen exactly the kind of career that inspires you to do more every day. What do you suggest, sir? How do we choose our careers and how do we prioritize?
Choosing your career. See, it's difficult. If you had asked me, hey, what do you want to do in your career? Would it have been cars? I would have said no. It would have potentially been space or something like that. But there are a lot of things that may be beyond your control. Like I can't work in the space sector here. I'm an Indian citizen. You need to have certain. Okay, that's presuming I was skilled enough to work there, and I was the person for the job. There are other barriers which would, for example, my nationality, getting security clearance that is needed for those jobs, stuff like that, which would not have been possible for me. So, with regards to choosing your careers, what I would suggest is just be open to, just have a general feeling of what you're interested in. Try it out, maybe in not directly in your career. Try to learn on your own a little bit. Try to do some projects, side projects, maybe startups, maybe university projects, whatever works for you, right? Try that out, see whether, gain some skills there, get a sense of, is that what you really want to do? Then go ahead and pursue it in a more formal way. If you're able to jump all of those steps, go directly formal. If somebody gives you that opportunity, good, take it, try it out. If you don't like it, it's fine. It's keep trying new things, figuring yourself out. You fail, move on to the next. If you succeed, good, you found what you love, amazing. Build a beautiful career there, and take it from there, is all I'll say. Now, in all of that, it's like, oh, I want to do my passions, and therefore I'm gonna ignore everything else. Maybe be a little more practical about it. Maybe listen to maybe your peers, maybe your parents, maybe your teachers, whoever is suggesting, hey, don't ignore these other stuff. Do them to a level that will make sure that you have something back to build upon, but don't give up any passion.
So we must be open to change and be ready to experiment. We completely agree to that. So you've traveled.
The world is changing very fast. You don't know what careers will even exist, even within engineering. So it would, unless you're open to change and open to learning wherever you're in life, it would be difficult. So make sure you are ready for that. You know how to learn. That's more important than exactly what you're doing in your life and career, because things will change.
So we place our complete agreement with what you've said. You must have traveled a lot due to your projects and adventures in these past years. So what did you learn from the various places you've been to?
What I've learned is borders are stupid. I used to be a very strong nationalist back when I was, my first email ID was kshitij_Indian@yada.com. And over the years, after having lived abroad, after having met so many cultures, after having traveled, that's grown from a national perspective to a much more worldly perspective and environment. Loving, respecting, enjoying your own culture, other cultures, other countries, other people, their perspectives, where they come from, stuff like that. So that gives you, at least I believe that makes you grow, understand a lot of perspectives, and that's important. So that's what my travels and having lived and grown up in these countries have taught me.
It's very insightful, sir. So you have taken up a lot of various educational institutions in your past years. What would be your key advice for the students who want to pursue education at foreign universities? Are there any background checks that the students should take up or anything like that?
Um, I'm not I'm not sure what you mean by background checks, but if you mean researching into where you're going, I mean, of course, uh, when I was in this scenario, it was very difficult for me because I had nobody to ask these questions to and stuff like that back in the day, apart from just searching online, especially for undergraduate. So my only thing would be reach out to alumnus from that university or people who are still studying there, figure out if it is what you want to do. Uh, if you're going pure into research, that's a different story. Like, then you would want to look into, rather than the university, what professor you want to work in, what lab do you want to work in, what is the past work done by that professor, is that what interests you, then trying to reach out to the professor and stuff like that. So that's a very big loaded question. There's so many aspects of it. Are you just going there for undergraduate just to study? Are you going that for a certification? Are you going there to do research? And each of those would have a different answer. So I don't think I can give you like um, an answer that will go across the board, apart from, yeah, just do your research, reach out to people there, know and understand what you're getting into. And 99% of the times you would not really until you really go there. Um, and that's fine. Just make the best of the situation.
Thanks a lot for joining us today, sir. That was indeed very inspiring and very insightful. We are deeply inspired by your words and honored for having been in your presence today evening. Your dedication and commitment to your beliefs and morals are truly inspiring and highly commendable.
Thanks a lot for the valuable time that you've spent with us today, and it was a pleasure to have spent an evening with you, or in your case, a morning. As students, I am sure we all hope to reach the same heights as you have said.
I'm sure.
Before we
I'm
end,
sure you will.
yes, sir, please
So,
go ahead.
good luck.
Thank you, sir. Before we end, a special shout out to one of our other ex-students, Mr. Puneet Kohli, sir, who is assisting us with streaming our event live today. Thank you, sir. Sona ma'am, over to you now.
Thank you, dear children. Kshitij, I have been observing this conversation right from the word go, and there are a few thoughts that I'd like to share with you. First and foremost, I feel, as I heard you and I saw you speak, I feel that little child is very much there within you still, and which made you speak from the heart. And that's really commendable. And in spite of all the success that you garnered here in India, and then you cruised along to other shores for other more phenomenal success, you still are grounded. And the fact is that you remember the names of your teachers still tells me a lot about you. So that another thing which really impresses me a lot. There's one thing which has come from a youngster like you is talking about failure. It is supposed to be a taboo word amongst youngsters nowadays, considering the fact that we are all living a very insulated life. We as parents like to insulate our children, not talk about failure. Failure is not for you. We cannot tolerate and things like. But what I heard throughout during your conversation, you actually made us feel, and you reminded us that failures are the stepping stones, something which we have chosen to forget in our lives today. And there's just one question which is on my mind. Just one question, if you may help me to answer. It's very easy to say that I'm a self-made man and I'm a self-made woman, but talking about you, is there any one person you would contribute your success to?
There have been a lot of people. I don't think like I can definitely say one person, but if I just look back at my life as a chain of events, okay, this led to this, this led to this, this led to this. I think there were some moments where Nafisa ma'am was like, okay, go ahead. That conversation that I mentioned, I think that kind of changed my life. Had I not gone into her office, had I not asked for her to allow me to do that, had she not said yes, things would have been very different. I would not have won the award. I would have, because of which I would have not hadn't gotten the opportunity to go to Auckland. Life would have been very different. So I think that moment was very important, and that changed a lot. I'm very thankful to support Mona ma'am and Nafisa ma'am. I'm sure there would be conversations in the background to get an okay on that, which I am not aware of. So I'm very thankful for that.
It's so happy. I'm right. It's so, it's really bringing goosebumps in me that you are actually still so grounded and so feeling so honored that you feel that one person happens to be one of your teachers, and of course Mona ma'am along with us. So Mona ma'am is here with us. Mona ma'am, could you or would you like to speak a few words to Kshitij? I'm sure you'd be wanting to.
Hi Kshitij, long time, haven't met you.
Hello.
Wonderful session. I was just listening to what you were saying. As Sona ma'am just mentioned, you're just still the kid.
Yes.
The story, the way you have expressed like a storytelling session, it's a very nice, because for kids I feel that's the way you have to, very excellent session. Really proud of you, of what you're doing.
Thank you, ma'am. I mean, if you start talking about school days, everybody's a kid there. So those stories will definitely come out as in your kid face.
We'll see you walking down the stairs from, wearing your gray and cream shirt, your uniform. He was a very what can I say? Very friendly student. Would mix, like he said. Though he says he wasn't academically inclined, but then I still feel he was very good at it. Very good. And am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So with that, he was into all other things. That made it all the more special. Seema is here too. I think Seema can say something. Yeah.
Very, very humbling to know that, his contribution, rather he's contributing everything to his teachers. So we have Seema here.
Yeah. Hello.
Seema Dinesh, who was one of his teachers. And she perhaps can help us with this eyewitness account of his
I know. I am so happy that I have been his teacher, and I feel proud, more than happy. I think we feel proud that I have taught this boy of exemplary brilliance. And as far as what I remember, he definitely was a child who loved to answer questions in the class. But more than answering questions, it was his penchant for asking the questions, which was noteworthy. He used to be so curious. He used to ask questions in almost all subjects. Like all teachers had the same thing. Oh, that one boy, he asked this question. And teachers were also enjoying that process throughout, And he also had this very magnetic kind of personality in school. So he used to actually attract others. Like he himself used to go out of the class for competitions and for participating in the activities. And there would be 4 to 5 of them behind him, all the time, trailing behind. And, it was real fun to work with Kshitij for all those science competitions, which I have been a part of. And somewhere I sometimes used to feel that he is our motivator, as a student, these students used to motivate us. Come on, teachers, we have to do this. We will do this. We will do it like this. Those kind of, because he was not scared of failing, as he has said, and very rightly said. He would do any task, any competition, any assignment without that fear ki what is going to be come forward. He wasn't scared of that. And I think this is what has given him the success which he has got today. That zest to thrive through whatever it is. Let us take a chance. Let us persist. This is what I think today's generation should also learn. And Kshitij, definitely you are a motivator, not only for students, but also for teachers, I should say. It really gives us immense pleasure, and wishing you all success in your life. I have one question for you, Kshitij.
Yes,
it is from the audience. People want to know if they want to connect with you, the students. what is the mode of doing so? Through how can they connect with you if they want to ask you something on a personal front, or some guidance if they need, our children?
They can definitely find me on the social medias and connect there. I'll try to help out as much as I can, but I can't necessarily promise to do what I will be able to.
Okay, thank you so much, Kshitij. Thank you, and all the best for all your future endeavors. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All the best.
We've come to the end.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Renin sir.
Ma'am, sorry. Actually, my son, the tuition was there, no? So,
Kshitij was talking about you. He remembers you.
yes, I know. How are you, Kshitij?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. After a long time.
Yeah, I might see you later in the year if I come back.
I always remember, and even my students also, when they're going for competition, I'm always saying my best student is Kshitij Gupta. He's my best student. And when I'm sending for competition, I'm fully confident कि मुझे हम लोग को prize आएगा ही आएगा.
Yes, agreed. Yes.
Yes, and Seema miss no, because हम लोग दोनों साथ में ही थे. हाँ, Kshitij जा रहा है ना, no problem.
Yeah, we used to work together for these
Okay.
R-word competitions, so we were very
And our competition, Kshitij best. Bas.
Well, that should be the confidence amongst the teachers. Children, you are here, and all your other peers are watching us on YouTube. That is Kshitij Gupta, a thorough gentleman, a brilliant student, and of course, an inspiration to many, many students here. You will live with us as a student, as a motivator in days, in times to come, Kshitij. Thank you so much for joining us and sparing your valuable time for our students here to motivate. We will stay connected. We are very confident that you will find time for Children's Academy always. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mona ma'am, for joining us. Thank you, children. And thank you, Seema Miss and Renin. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank
all the very best to you. May God bless you always.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.